So first and foremost, we want to congratulate you on being finalists in this season of the Amazing Race. We also wanted to say that you were the team of our hearts. We were very much pulling for you in the end. And so that was, we love that you started the leg in first place, but we know how difficult the grab challenge was. And we were so touched by that entire exchange you had there. Our first question really is around the question of preparing for the race and the question of accessibility in preparing for the race. So how many conversations or what kind of conversations did you have with the producers, for example, around this question? And also, what preparations did you both make knowing what levels of accessibility or accommodation there may or may not be on the race?
So it wasn't really a lot of adjustments during the race. The only thing that I really needed was an interpreter for the post race interviews, the safety training, just for example, the skydiving where, it's recommended to have the safety instructions laid out for us. And I didn't need an interpreter during the race because I really just wanted to have the authenticity of us in everyday life.
Yeah, exactly like he said, it was kind of just us showcasing the relationship that we have and how we interact in everyday life. So what you saw in the car with my dad looking up into the mirror, signing back at me and me signing up to him, like that has been my whole life growing up. That was, hey, I'm hungry on a road trip, pull over at McDonald's. Like that was real. That's how we interact. The big modifications we made were, obviously when we trained for the Amazing Race, we thought through every little thing that could happen. So we're like, all right, if there's a self-driving leg, how are we going to handle directions? So we agreed on a system by taking a practice drive to San Diego. I bought a map of Southern California and I was like, all right, I'm going to write a set of directions for you, pass it up to you so you know the next thing you're looking for. And then I'll have my master set of directions. So I'm looking too. And then we would kind of iterate and improve upon it. So by the second or third driving leg, we figured out the most helpful thing would be, as my dad sees road signs, he'll call them out to me. So I know exactly where we are at any given moment. And I'm a human GPS now. Like, all right, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. We're looking for this cross street. And so it was just really collaborative and us, being really authentic with how we interact with each other.
What can you tell us about that last leg? The finale, Seattle.
Seattle. Whew. We actually drove to the Space Needle, which was nothing. And then when we came back, when it was time for the scramble tasks, we really took over it until we had to drive from point A to point B. And that actually hurt us and we got lost. We took the wrong turn and actually, that's actually what made it. When we got to the memory game, that was also an easy task that we could do it. We collaborated pretty well. We memorized the training and we, practiced it every night and what we did. And then from A to B, again, that driving point hurt us again. It seemed like that day, we just love to do the dad detour. Thanks, Todd.
That was a gift that Todd left with you when he left the show. Was the gift
Dad,
of the dad detour. He passed the torch.
Yeah,
he really did. And it's funny. The Seattle leg was a ton of fun and it was interesting because when you're on the Amazing Race in general, it is just a ton of sudden adrenaline and it doesn't turn off. Like you are always on go mode. And then in the finale, it is to another level. It is times 1,000,000. And so you're just constantly going and going, going, and the pressure is really high. And so to have that calm composure is really difficult. And so we were kind of trying to go as quick as we could. And I think there were a couple of moments that when we asked for directions, we could have been a little more thorough and maybe double checked our directions with someone else. It was really difficult to find people for directions, as you saw with Joel and Garrett pulling over someone at a Taco Bell drive-through to get directions. Like it was kind of a madhouse out there.
The people of Seattle and Kenmore, Washington were just sitting ducks for just these people pulling over with producers and lighting crews and like release forms, asking for directions, asking to like hold their phones.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get
Especially for that to be happening in the dark. Sorry, Karen.
Oh, I was just asking, did you get an incomplete set of directions, or was it that you just like after you wrote down the exit, you just didn't complete the other steps from the exit?
So there were a couple different things that happened with directions. First time around was after we left glass blowing. The person we grabbed for directions from was in a hurry, had to get into their Uber. So we were quickly writing down as quick as we could. And as I'm like getting the last couple notes, like I'm leaving, and like pulling the phone away. I was like, no, we need like a second, just one more second. And so I don't know exactly, you know, I threw those notes away after the show. I didn't want to know, but it might have been I missed a step or flipped a step and just never found the exit we needed to take. And then the second time around, I know I flipped two things in my notes and then said, all right, remember this is swapped. And of course, I forgot that these were swapped and was looking for a street that was only to be found if you had taken a left on another main street.
Ooh.
So it was just two unfortunate errors at the worst possible time, but you know, no regrets. And that's the Amazing Race. You know, you got to get yourself from point A to point B. You're racing. It's not the amazing challenge completion, you know, so yeah.
That's correct. And I mean, if it wasn't for those two mistakes, we'd probably be really close. I mean, who knows? But we'll never know.
But at the end of the day, no regrets. We lived the dream. We made it through the entire Amazing Race, saw every city, every country, completed every task. We crossed the finish line, and Phil can never eliminate us.
You never got to see the eyebrow raise with a legitimate, you're out.
Well, the leg in India, we were scared. We thought it was coming. That one was scary. But after that, we had a pretty good sense of where we were most of the time.
That's correct. And that's correct. And we didn't have to stand and watch the three racers to finish with the last line, congratulating them. We didn't have to do that. We were a part of it.
So we want to ask what each of your favorite legs or challenges were on the race, because I think for each person, you know, like we got to see different arcs. Like Corey, we got to see you succeed after struggling with like balancing the kind of bagel shaped thing on your head at the dance challenge. And you know, Rob, we got to see you obviously like fight through the grab challenge, but what were your favorites? What were the things that I think you're going to take with you as those scenes that you remember the most from this season and this competition?
You know, in Seattle, the grab, oh, you know, that was a huge challenge. You know, when I saw Corey doing the task of trying to grab it, I just said, oh, okay, trapeze, you know, he was pretty good. You know, I didn't think I would be fine. It would be easy. It wouldn't be a big deal. Oh boy, was I wrong. It was different than what I expected. You know, the hard part was I was trying to get my leg onto the bar, just like this, and swinging, and I'm looking at the back and I can't see the person grabbing me. So I was like, how do I know that they're gonna grab me? So I kind of struggled with that. And finally on the 8th try, I just went ahead and took a leap of faith and just let go, and he's just gonna have to catch me. And I legitimately did that, and he caught me, and I was like, all right, man, we got this. That was a proud moment for me, honestly.
I love that, because if you watch back and watch it closer, everyone else as they're doing it, when they get grabbed, they're like attached to the bar still. My dad just let go. Like he flew off the trapeze and was like, I hope he catches me. And so it made me happy just the way he took a leap of faith. Exactly. And just went for it. He's like, we're getting this thing over with. That was really cool. I think my favorite leg has to be Slovenia. Just one, Slovenia is beautiful. 2, we're part of Amazing Race history, the first teams to go to Slovenia. And 3, the Express Pass. That was game changing. And then the zip line was stunning. Like that was so cool. So cool. In terms of a single favorite activity though, skydiving.
Ah,
Can't be skydiving. That was amazing. And I can't wait to go back.
were you scared?
Oh yeah. I like before the race was like, I don't know if I'm pro skydiving. If, my friends bullied me into it, I'd go with them, but I would never sign up for it on my own. But now that I've done it, I'm like trying to plan a trip with my friends to go skydiving. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, and I wasn't afraid of skydiving. I really enjoyed it. And I was telling him, come on, let's go. He was a little hesitant, but now he loves it. And so really Slovenia is such a beautiful country. I highly recommend you go and visit. I never thought that would have been, honestly. It reminds me of Switzerland. It's almost the same, majestic looking. It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And then also a fun little fact about Slovenia. They have like the world's tastiest sports drink. It's like their version of Gatorade, whatever it is outstanding. I love it. And I'm trying to see if I can order it on Amazon. It was amazing.
They should give it to you and you
Yes,
can be a
and
sponsor.
during the race, we had to get a few of them to take it home. And I was trying to order all of the drinks I could.
Yep. So if they're looking for a sponsor, I'm happy to do it.
You might be the only American volunteering for that job that I know of.
All right. Tight market.
We want to know, what was there anything about your team or your race that you wish would have been shown on the show? Like, what do you want people to know about you as a team or about how it was for you?
Honestly, I don't think there's too much that wasn't shown. I was really happy with the representation we gave for American Sign Language, the deaf community, the CODA communities. I think that we were able to show a really authentic experience, and that was our goal. At the end of the day, I really wanted the first few challenges. I wanted my dad to lead the way so people would see, it wasn't me and my dad doing the Amazing Race. He was a powerhouse at all of the challenges, and I wanted to showcase how brilliant he is and how, good at navigating he is, because a lot of people before the race were kind of going, how's a deaf person going to navigate on the Amazing Race? We've kind of seen how it's done before, but like, my dad raised me, so he's navigated the world sans me, no translator, for years and years and years. And so I really love the example that he set. I love that we showed the world that American Sign Language is at the core of our relationship. So that's really what I want to leave people with, is just the power of, empowering your relationship with sign language.
And that's actually our foundation, sign language, and to model it really, the transparency, the concise communication.
So I want to know if you two are going to take the trip to Fiji together, or if one of you gets to bring someone else along with you for the trip to Fiji.
I was telling my dad, I think let's take the family to Fiji for Christmas next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got that. All 4 of us, we're all there.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna try and see if we can add a couple people to the itinerary and bring my mom and brother along. Going on the Amazing Race was such a family endeavor. They were crucial to our application process, our training, really everything. And so as like a celebration for our family, we want to take them.
Oh my God. Corey,
I love it.
will you stay in touch with your river dance teacher? It seems like you really got along.
We did. Yep. We stayed in touch quickly after the show and talked a little bit. Nothing really came of it, but she's great. She was awesome. And yeah.
Oh,
We
good.
felt like you really came alive during that challenge.
So just as a follow-up to what you said about your family helping you both prepare for the race, could you let us in on a couple of things that they did, maybe just a couple of specific techniques or aspects that they help prepare you for?
Yes, indeed. So really, his mother, my wife, actually helped us and sat us down and said, hey, you guys need to discuss your flaws. And that was the hardest part for it. And we just had to address it. Because on the Amazing Race, we want to have success, you know? And so we have to work on our flaws in order to communicate, you know, and having that teamwork just, you know, spell out correctly. And that helped us out a lot.
Yeah, my mom was crucial in making sure that we address things that are going to come up on the race, and, you know, have these conversations ahead about how we're going to collaborate and work together and, you know, make it through really stressful environments. My brother played a really big role. He edited our application video. So if you've seen it on YouTube, the whole video that we made before we went on the race, all edited by my little brother. He also did a ton of training with us. He is a big dancer, so he taught us some choreography before we went on the race and gave us some tips on how to pick up dance a little bit quicker. So I think that was really big, at least for me, to have experience with dance and know some techniques on picking things up quicker.
That really showed, actually, in terms of the dance and the choreography stuff, because yeah, you really nailed those challenges. It was great. So
thank you. I appreciate that. That's big kudos to my brother Kellen. He really helped me out there.
Yeah. Nicole, you want to wrap it up? Oh, wait.
Shout out to Kellen.
I also want to say that, Rob, you having been a football coach just really gave your team like the wholesome can-do spirit of you as a team really came through. And it felt like your patience and your understanding, it really made your team a pleasure to watch. And, you know, in so many ways.
Yes. And, you know, really, yes, I am a football coach, an assistant coach for the California School for the Deaf Riverside. And so we recently just won a championship for the Southern California regions. And so I'm really, really proud. And it's really pivotal for the team to understand and to continue to have that strong hold and have that positivity. And that's how they got there, you know. So I used that in our race. And I think that we made it. We got to the top.
The California School for the Deaf in Riverside is down the street from my parents' house. So give it up to the School for the Deaf that grew up around the school, and also to the CIF victory that they had. And of course, to both of you for being incredible finalists on the Amazing Race, and for that family trip to Fiji that you're all going to take, which will be lovely, I'm sure.
And thank you for showing the world that the Amazing Race can be accessible so that other people will apply. You know, other people across all abilities will apply and know that they can also succeed at the Amazing Race.
Absolutely. And I sure hope so. I'd love to keep seeing more people breaking ground and, you know, being representative for all of their communities. So can't wait to keep seeing more incredible stories.
Absolutely, man. I love it, Corey.
Well, if we can take a picture as we wrap up, we would love to put it on our Instagram page for the show. Okay.
Absolutely.
1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. And also, my interpreter friends were so excited to hear that your team was on the show, just so you know. I was giving them updates.
Yes, amazing. Happy to hear that.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody. Congratulations again.